Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Patriots Corner podcast. I'm Trent Davis with Michael Gartman, and we are your hosts. This is our inaugural podcast for the Patriots Corner. Hopefully, the first of many more to come. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Awesome, bro. I'm ridiculous, but yeah. Today we're obviously going to talk about the Patriots because they've been dominating the headlines as of late. I mean, we Deflategate happened back in January, and that ran its course, and then they got some guy to investigate it named Tom Wells I'd never heard of until this Deflategate shenanigans. So, Michael, what are your thoughts on this recent suspension and penalty?
Oh, I thought it made a lot of sense. That's what a crazy person would say. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Roger Goodell is so, I don't even know. He's so up and down. Like, I mean, we can go back to the Ray Rice situation, and we're not going to go in depth on that obviously right now, but he goes back to he gets suspended for 2 games initially, and there's this whole deal with video. Did he see the video? Didn't he see the video? And I fully believe he saw the video before he suspended Ray Rice, which would make that fucking ridiculous. And I just said fuck. So yeah, you're going to hear that. Tangents, tangents. But yeah, this suspension is ridiculous. Like 4 games for text messages that weren't even his. I mean, obviously he refused to hand over his text messages, and I wouldn't either. That's my personal phone. Like I pitch for, I'm going through puberty. No, I'm not actually. I'm 29. Um, yeah, more tangents. Sorry, but yeah, 4 games. Like I wouldn't hand over my phone either. There's personal text messages, calls, whatever it may be. Like what if there's somebody? What if Tom Brady had a dick pic on his phone that he sent to his wife? Somehow it gets out because Tom Wells is an asshole. Like now we see Tom Brady's penis plastered all over the internet. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. No one wants their penis plastered all over the internet. Maybe besides porn stars, maybe. And who knows if they even want that? I don't know. I've never interviewed a porn star. Let's not make assumptions here. I mean, but that could have happened. Crazier things have happened, like Ray Rice getting suspended for only 2 games for beating his wife. I mean, that's not to make a lot of that. Domestic violence is very serious. So, and I hate Roger Goodell for that whole situation. Michael, you were talking about earlier, moving on a little bit, about how you thought, uh, you already talked about that you'd never seen a situation like this, or you don't think you had seen a situation like this, and Adam Schefter brought up the possibility of this suspension possibly getting completely overturned. So, give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder whether, in addition to the 4 games being overturned, whether the Patriots would get their draft picks back and uh, whether the $1 million fine would go away.
Right. I personally don't think that the Patriots would get their draft picks back and um have their fine reduced or completely erased, only because this involves specifically Tom Brady's no the Tom Brady suspension involves him knowing and being a participator in deflating said balls. I think Tom Wells, I haven't read the 244-page article, um, and I don't think I will, but I've sort of, I've read a couple pages and excerpts from the ridiculously long document, and I don't know. I just think he proved that the Patriots cheated, but this is about whether or not Tom Brady knew about these balls being deflated. And I'm not sure he could prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. Um, with all this circumstantial evidence and these text messages between these two guys, McNally and Jerminski, which we will go over in a second. But you bring up this the $1 million fine, and there's a funny story that goes along with that. Let's tell the listeners about it. Go ahead, Mike. The
What are you talking
GoFundMe thing.
about?
What? You're
Oh,
killing me, Smalls. Come on.
yeah, there's a guy from Spokane, Washington. Odd place um, for this to
Oh
be
yeah.
happening
Why is it
from.
odd?
Well, I mean, you would think this would be coming from a Patriots fan, and I guess it's possible it is, but this is coming from Spokane, Washington, and apparently thought, hey, this is a good idea. We should start, um, yeah, I mean, it might be a Patriots fan, but if somebody from Spokane, Washington decided to uh, start a GoFundMe campaign to give $1 million back to the Patriots, and they've already raised over $13,000.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Like you mentioned, just because it comes from, Washington, the home of the Seattle Seahawks, a team they happen to play in the Super Bowl and beat in the last second because a lot of people think because of a terrible decision by Pete Carroll and the offensive coordinator, not to run the ball with their best offensive player. Um, but anyways, yeah, it's pretty crazy that it's ironic that it came from Spokane, Washington, to say the least. Um, Honestly, I think it's dumb. Um, this guy is wasting. These people are wasting money, in my opinion. Obviously, they said if the Patriots do not accept it, they're going to turn the money over or spend the money on a good cause, donate it to a good cause. I'm assuming, which is awesome. And I hope that does happen. And honestly, I think that is going to happen because I mean, who are we talking about? The Patriots here? Do like they like to stay under the radar? Do they? You think they want to have a? This guy wants to take a plane, right, Michael? What does he want to do again?
Yeah, he wants to take a plane, and he said he'll pay for the expenses or whatever, and he'll head all the way to Boston there to meet with
Here,
the team to hand over the
Boston.
cash, which is obviously ridiculous. And he it seems like he anticipates that um, they'll wind up giving it over to charity. But I had a funny thought a while ago that if the Patriots did hypothetically accept the money, Roger Goodell would slap them with a suspension for that.
Now that would be funny. I I wouldn't put it past Roger Goodell. Like he's ridiculous. I don't know. He has all this power, and the players gave it to him. Anyways, moving on past GoFundMe, which is a ridiculous site. Anyways, these text message, these lovely, lovely text messages, that are between, a locker room attendee and the equipment assistant. Do you have them pulled up, Mike?
I do.
You want to read them with me in a ridiculous manner?
That sounds like a plan.
Let's pretend I have accents here, ridiculous in this. Uh, Let me just go ahead and apologize in advance for this one. Um, so these text messages, like I said, are from Jim McNally, or is it? Yeah, Jim McNally
McNally.
and John Drostimsky. They sound like they belong in Boston. Let's just face it. I mean, these guys have Irish names, and they all happened in 2014 apparently. So, I'm gonna show off my acting chops here, and as is Michael, and we're gonna read these text messages together, and I will be um, McNally, and Michael will be Drostimsky. So let's do this. Just give me a second here. Hey, you working?
Yup.
Nice, dude. Jimmy needs kicks. Let's make a deal. Come on, help the deflator. Chill, buddy. I'm just fucking with you. I'm not going to ESPN yet. And that apparently, excuse me, was on May 9th, 2014. A short conversation. The next one happens on October 17th of 2014, and it's after the Patriots played the Jets during a Thursday night game. So, hey, Tom sucks. I'm going to make that next ball a fucking balloon.
Talked to him last night. He actually brought you up and said must have a lot of stress trying to get them done. I told him I was. He was right though. I checked some of the balls this morning. The refs fucked us. A few of them were at almost 16. They didn't recheck then after they put air in them.
Fucking Tom, 16 is nothing. Wait till Sunday.
OMG, spaz.
And then on October 21st, 2014, McNally and Jastrzemski exchanged the following text message. So says the article on Sports Illustrated. Make sure you blow up the ball to look like a rugby ball so Tom can get used to it before Sunday. OMG.
OMG.
And then 2 days later, on the 23rd, 3 days before a Sunday game against the Bears, they exchanged the following messages.
Can't wait to give you your
All
needle
right,
this
fucking
week.
Tom, make sure the pump is attached to the needle. Fucking watermelon's coming.
So
The only
angry.
thing deflating, son, is his passing rating. And let me just stop the like look at that set of text messages. None of that makes any freaking sense. Like I don't know, did they take just part of these text messages and decide to put them in the report? Like, 'cause to me that doesn't make any sense. So angry, like you couldn't put why so angry? Like one extra word is really gonna fucking hurt you to type? Alright, so the next day, Jastrzemski and McNally exchanged the following messages.
I have a big needle for you this
Better be
week.
surrounded by cash and new kicks or it's a rugby Sunday, fucking Tom.
Maybe you will have some nice 11s in your locker.
Tom must really be working your balls hard this week. Alright, and that is also a ridiculous conversation. Um, that one was funnier than the last one, though. And then on January 7th, 2015, before the AFC Championship game, McNally and Simpson discussed how McNally would have a big autograph day and receive items received autographed by Brady the following week before the playoff game against the Baltimore Ravens. Remember to put a couple of sweet pigskins ready for Tom to sign.
You got it, kid. Big autograph day for
Nice. Throw
you.
some kicks in and make it real special.
You're lucky. 11?
11 or 11 and a half, kid. And that is all of the text messages exchanged between McNally and Jastrzemski that at least Tom Wells, I guess, thought pertained to the Deflategate. And so, first off, again, I'm going to apologize for our acting skills. Although, I don't know. I haven't listened to it yet, but it's probably terrible.
I mean, Boston accents are so hard to do if you're not from that
I think
area.
you look an Australian accent much better, mate. Like, I could have read it like this the whole time, and yeah, fucking time, mate. I could have said that, like, yeah, could have, but it's not Boston, mate. Alright, and then that was kind of fucking Scottish at the end, so.
I mean, I assumed you were going for Australian. I
Well, I
mean,
could do for Australian, mate, but it wouldn't have been fun for anybody listening. I'm ridiculous. I'm fucking ridiculous. Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see how. Apparently, from what I've read, the fact that Tom refused to turn over his phone and his text messages, which again I would have done, and then these text messages, it doesn't say. It does mention Tom had talked about him one time and asked about him, but it doesn't say Tom asked about the balls. So, I mean, you could. I don't know. I don't feel this is enough to have suspended him for 4 games. I think that it's going to probably get knocked down to 2 in the long run. Um, and I wouldn't be totally shocked if it got completely like dismissed altogether. What do you think, Michael?
yeah, I mean, ESPN's Adam Schefter said earlier this week that he kind of has a hunch that it will be overturned. But I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was reduced to 2 or 3 games. I wouldn't be surprised if uh, the suspension was completely upheld just for what the heck, let's screw the Patriots kind of mentality. Um, and it wouldn't surprise me if Schefter's right and the suspension gets completely overturned. I mean, I guess the interesting um, what I'm intrigued by is if the suspension is overturned, whether they'll get their draft picks back. So,
Yeah, I don't think they will.
I mean, why did they throw in a 2017 fourth rounder? That seems so random. I mean, it's like, okay, for one of their games next year, um, half the defensive players will have to play on one leg. I mean, that's how random it seems to me. Like, what?
It's Roger Goodell. I mean, at this point, nothing is going to shock me with him. So I think it's ridiculous, redonkulous, shenanigans, evil shenanigans. I don't know. There's a lot of Patriots haters. I'm on Facebook and I'm on a lot of these Facebook pages, these sports websites, and honestly, I've seen a lot of against it and for it. Um, but a lot of people are Patriots haters. I read earlier this week that there's a GM that said, he knows of at least 11 teams, off the record, obviously, this GM was not named, that 11 teams that have tried or are doing the same thing. So the Patriots get caught and they're under a microscope, especially because, they've had past instances with Spygate and such. So And I fully believe that even more teams are cheating and trying to get it past you. I mean, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Um, that's with every sport, guys. Come on, like we're not stupid here.
I mean, every team tries to get an advantage however they can. Um, I mean, it just seems the Patriots just get caught. I mean,
Yeah, I really think they're under just a larger microscope, because of their past instances, and then it makes sense. It's like a criminal, some guy who gets arrested for a felony arrest. You know what I'm saying? Like, and some guy who's never done anything in his life. The guy who's been arrested for a felony, he's probably gonna get checked up on more than the guy who's never been arrested, right? Right. I mean, that's common
yeah,
sense.
I mean, it gets me thinking. They gotta know they're under a microscope. So why would they even text each other this information? Why would they sound like at part teenage girls like OMG spaz? What?
Yeah, that was weird. What I did read was crazy, which totally almost forgot to mention, was that, excuse me, the Indianapolis Colts, I think it was general manager, notified the league the day before that the Patriots had been deflating balls, and he notified the league office, and the league office told him that they were going to look into it. And obviously, the referees looked at the balls, and then the prayer got changed afterwards. The PSI got changed after the referees looked at the balls, but they were notified of it, and you would think they would keep their eyes on the ball like the whole time until it got to the field. I'm not. I'm not sure exactly how they did deflating because I don't think that anybody admitted to any guilt. Um, they just not necessarily assumed, but came to that conclusion with all of the evidence they gathered, or Tom Wells did, anyways. Um, but that's crazy if that's like 100% true. I can't confirm or deny this, but that's what I read on SportsIllustrated.com. That's just crazy to me. Obviously this rule is going to get changed more than likely. If it doesn't, that now that would be insane. The Yeah, I mean, what'd you say earlier? There were some GMs calling Robert Kraft the vice president of the NFL.
Yeah, it was something along those lines. And yeah, like because their relationship, Robert Kraft and Roger Goodell is so tight that Robert Kraft, the Patriots owner, is like the vice president of the NFL. So maybe that'll play a role in this suspension um, getting reduced or going by the wayside. But then again, you could say, well, why would it have happened at all if they're, so tight? So um, it's interesting, but yeah, supposedly several executives for other teams feel that the Patriots are, kind of have an advantage because of that.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this or not, or you listeners out there, is that when somebody appeals, you know who the appeal goes to? Roger Goodell, unless he relieves himself of said appeal authority or whatever you want to say. And he has before. He did in the Ray Rice situation. I wonder if he's going to do it here. Um, I think it would behoove him to relieve himself of those duties. But he's Roger Goodell. Who knows what he's going to do? He has all the power. He makes $30 million a year. Um, it might even be more than that now. Uh, he should not make that much money. That's ridiculous. Like, there's no way he works that hard. It boggles my fucking mind. Um, it's upsetting. It's literally upsetting to think he makes this much money. This guy who's, I don't know. This has started a tangent, and who knows, I might cut this out. I literally started a petition to get him fired last year. Like, that's how much I dislike Roger Goodell. Let's hope if we ever apply to get NFL credentials, they don't listen to this podcast right here. Because otherwise I'll probably get banned from every NFL stadium. No, I'm serious. I probably would. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel like this suspension is bullshit. I think it's Roger Goodell. I don't even know, to be honest. I don't even know what his thought process is behind this. This is so ridiculous. So ridiculous. All right, guys. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. You have anything else to add to that situation?
No, I don't think so.
All right, well, let's talk about the Patriots schedule real quick and what would happen if Tom Brady's suspension does hold up. So obviously it's a 4 game suspension, and if the suspension does end up holding up through the appeals process and whatnot, Tom Brady would come back week 6 at Indianapolis of all places, and
I'm sure that's just a coincidence,
I
right?
don't think it's a coincidence. There's no way it's a coincidence. No way. No, it's a Sunday night game. It happens to be a Sunday night game, so it's not it's on gonna be on NBC, and I mean that game is gonna be. I mean the ratings for that game is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be like probably like a
Yeah.
playoff game rating. Like 10 to 15 million people gonna be watching that game easily, maybe even more. Um,
I'm sure NBC is trying to find a way. How do we get cameras on the footballs?
Oh, I guarantee they're going to have cameras on the footballs. Like they're gonna have a cameraman following the referee as he's inspecting the balls. Like I'm you know insert a ball joke there, but yeah, that's gonna be ridiculous. Like the NFL is probably gonna charge or NBC is gonna charge out the butthole for commercial time for that. I'm sure it's gonna be crazy. Who knows? Like this is gonna be a moneymaker for the NFL. There's no way that's a coincidence. But anyways, so what do you think happens if the Patriots the suspension does hold up and Jimmy G they're calling him Polo I've seen on a couple of websites which is ridiculous happens to start for in the first 4 games for them.
Well, he's gonna be in for a challenge. Obviously, he did well in preseason last year. Obviously, he can learn a lot sitting behind Tom Brady, but and obviously having Rob Gronkowski out there helps. So Rob Gronkowski, if you're listening, you got to stay healthy, buddy. Uh, um, but they're going to be in for some trouble, possibly, because it looks like they've kind of taken a step back this offseason, even before the Brady suspension, losing Darrell Revis, losing Brandon Browner, and really not replacing them, losing a couple of running backs. So, and the Bills, the Dolphins, the Jets, they've all taken massive steps forward. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think this is going to be like a 4-team race towards the playoffs, and probably by week 15, every one of them should still be in playoff contention.
I don't know about every one of them. I honestly don't think the Jets uh besides their defensive line which is just freaking stout um and
Yeah,
like I don't you we talked about earlier before we started this podcast. You had mentioned that Geno Smith started to play better towards the end of the year, and
which
yeah,
he did. He
yeah,
did.
yeah, sure he did. And now he's got Brandon Marshall. He's a little bit older, still a quality receiver. Um, that
I
trade
mean, keep in mind,
shocked me, but
Eric Decker was never a number one receiver, but he is a good, solid, legitimate number two.
right,
And then
I
you
agree.
add Devin Smith. Jace Amaro is a potential breakout candidate.
Yeah,
Tight ends don't usually produce in their rookie year, but you know, high draft picks at the position in their second year, third year, definitely the potential is there. And I'm a little bit skeptical on why they didn't, get a real dynamic change of pace running back to kind of complement, um, Chris Ivory. And I mean, why
whoa.
did they trade for
I
Zach
really
Stacy?
like Chris Ivory though. When he's healthy, he is a
Yeah,
stud.
but I mean, maybe Bilal Powell's the guy, but I'm thinking like,
He's a good change of pace back.
yeah. But I mean, look at that secondary. That was their biggest weakness, and now that's their biggest strength. I mean, they were relying on D. Milner to be the number one guy, which
Mhm.
was an awful move. And now he can sit back as a number 4 guy and learn from a star nickel corner, Buster Screen, and 2 really good outside corners in Antonio Cromartie and Darrell Revis. I mean, they should be right there in contention as long as Geno Smith isn't terrible. So
which I think
If
he will be.
he's they've got a chance.
Yeah, I haven't looked at their schedule, um, which I
But
would.
let's take a look at the Pats.
Yeah, let's
If
get off Geno
if Tom
Smith because
Brady,
I don't think anybody wants to be on Geno Smith. That's Go ahead.
yeah, so they open obviously the defending Super Bowl champs. They kick off the NFL regular season
Hmm.
at home against Pittsburgh
All right.
on Thursday night, September 10th. How do you think that's going to go down if Garoppolo is under center?
I think Garoppolo is going to be going down a lot. That's how I think it's going to go down. I mean, he's not a rookie, but he's basically a rookie in the full sense of the word because he hasn't started a game in the NFL. I think he got some time after a couple games last year, after a couple of blowouts. Um, I think maybe he got one game or something like that. I have to look into it. And obviously there was he looked decent in preseason. With preseason, it's just that you're playing against third, fourth string guys who probably aren't even gonna make the roster. So if you're not looking good in preseason, well, I mean, yeah, you
Uh-oh.
haven't. Yeah, was right. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are just going to tear the Patriots secondary apart with Antonio Brown. Not to mention their running game.
Le'Veon
Yeah,
Bell
Le'Veon Bell who can catch the ball
and
out of the.
Marcus Wheaton
Oh yeah, he came out of
and
nowhere.
Martavis Bryant. I mean, they made me some dough last year.
Yeah, daily fantasy. Yeah, yeah, they did. Um, Antonio Brown. I mean, he's a stud. Like I had him a lot of times in daily fantasy, a lot of weeks in daily fantasy, and I think he only disappointed me one time. But daily fantasy, we'll be talking about that as well. I love fantasy football. Who doesn't, right? But no, I think they could easily lose that game. And then they're at Buffalo, and Buffalo's gotten considerably better despite trading away Kiko Alonso. But they traded away Kiko Alonso for LeSean McCoy. I think that's a solid trade.
Yeah,
Um,
probably is. I mean, because, what does Rex Ryan want to do? Ground and pound. But you know what? He doesn't just want to ground and pound. He brought in Percy Harvin. He brought in Charles Clay, who can kind of be used everywhere.
mhm.
Didn't he bring in the Terminator, John Connor, today?
Yep,
I think he did.
he did.
And, you know, they've also got Sammy Watkins, Robert Woods. So this is a dynamic offense, regardless of whether it's Matt Castle, EJ Manuel, or even Tyrod
They
Taylor
also
as their
they also have
quarterback.
one of the better offensive lines in the football, so LeSean McCoy is going to be loving that. Despite who the quarterback is, I think Matt Castle will probably win out at least at first. I'm not 100% sold on that, but if you had to put me to a decision right now, I would say Matt Castle. But I mean, their defense is stout too, despite losing Kiko Alonso. I
Right.
mean, on the defensive front, they have um, Mario Williams.
Marcel
Yep,
Darius,
and yes,
Kyle
Kyle Williams.
Williams.
That's who it is. Yes, that guy's a beast.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they have guys like Kyle Williams as well. Guy's a freaking beast. They drafted well last year. I haven't really gone over their draft completely this year, but
I mean, I like most people, I was not impressed with their draft group. Obviously they didn't have a first round pick because they traded up to get Sammy Watkins last year. And, you know, verdict still out on that. Obviously, Sammy Watkins is a really, really good player, but you look at some of the other receivers last year, like Odell Beckham Jr., who just got on the Madden cover, and Mike Evans and Brandon Cooks, among others. Did they jump the gun on that one? Um, but this should be a very good team, and obviously they want to be very physical, hit you in the mouth type of team.
yeah, I thought Sammy Watkins had a good year last year, but he started
He
off
was good,
slow though.
but right, and he was a little bit overshadowed because of such a spectacular receiver group. I mean, it was it was ridiculous how
Yeah, he
good it
didn't have his
was.
first 100-yard game. Oh, had it in week 2 against the Dolphins, and then it was 19, 30, 87, 27. He was inconsistent to say the least last year. Sammy Watkins,
But so
but part of that's due because
right,
of their quarterback situation and their running back situation wasn't great either. Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller. If one of them was healthy, the other one was injured. And I think even last year, both of them were injured at one time, um, at the same time. So
Yeah, they were.
you got LaShawn McCoy, who hasn't missed a ton of games over his career, and he's a stud. LaShawn McCoy is a top, arguably a top three, I'd say top five running back in the NFL. Um,
Mhm.
Depending on how Adrian Peterson plays this year, and what team he plays on. But yeah, no, I really love the Buffalo Bills additions. But we're talking too much about the Bills. Again, I think the Patriots gonna lose that game. It's in Buffalo, and then they're home against Jacksonville.
Yeah, and plus Buffalo always starts the season off strong, so
Right.
um, they kind of get worse down the stretch, but they always start strong. So Jacksonville, they'll give them they'll give them a tough battle. They'll play their hearts out, but they don't have enough talent to trump the
I don't
Patriots.
think so. I think they'll give them a run for their money in that game only because it would be Jimmy Garoppolo playing the game. But 3 games in, I think he'll get a hang for it. He would have weapons. He does have some good weapons. I like Jonas Gray. We talked about the running back situation a little earlier, and obviously, I love Julian Edelman, man. I love that kid. Um,
Yeah.
he's from the area around me, seventh round pick.
But yeah, and so then after a week 4 bye, Garoppolo, if Brady's suspension is upheld, will get his last test in Dallas. Won't that be fun?
Yeah, not. I don't. It won't be fun for him.
It'll be fun for Des Bryant and the Cowboys receivers. Guess that Patriots
Oh yeah,
secondary.
but not to mention, the Dallas Cowboys have arguably the best line in the NFL, and despite losing the number one running back last year to their rivals in the Eagles, they have a decent running back when he's healthy. He's
Yeah,
shown. Why does his name always elude me? I
Darren
Darren McFadden.
McFadden.
Yeah, Darren. I'm injured most of the year. McFadden. Um, but when I'm healthy, I play halfway decent sometimes. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just think anybody could run behind that line. So, uh,
yeah, and they got that underwear thief, Joseph
the
Randall. I
underwear
mean,
thief, I
he's
forgot
gonna
about
be.
that.
I don't know if he'll ever be able to
Didn't he
shed
steal
that label.
cologne like 2 weeks after that, dude? Like, there was
I think Cologne
or
was
cologne.
included in
Like, I
that.
thought he stole something after that too. I don't remember, but that's such a like obviously he's not doing it because he's broke. Like, yeah,
I mean, it's just. I can get away with this. I mean, is that?
who knows? He needs to go to a therapist. And that's not me being an asshole. That's just like, that's that's just the truth, guys. Come on. Some people need therapists. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, no, Dallas. I honestly, I think they could go 1-3, and over that
Yeah.
4 game stretch. They have a bye, so going into Dallas that might help, but I don't think it'll help a lot. Yeah, they could go 1-3, and whether or not that means they lose the division for the first time since 2009 or 2010, and the first time or the second time since 2000, when even when that was when Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback of the Patriots. Yeah, I'm not sure I see it happening. If they do, I think it'll probably be to the Dolphins. I know you have a different opinion on that.
I mean, I am not. I don't have strong conviction on which team will do it, but I definitely think it'll be a 4-team race.
I don't think it'll be a 4 team race. I don't see the Jets being in it. And I think it's because of Geno Smith. I do agree that their defense looks great on paper.
I mean, but how are they that different from the Bills?
I like Matt Castle more. Hmm. I mean, I think that Rex Ryan, can cater an offense to him, um, like he did with
Well, I definitely
with
feel the
with.
same way about the Jets. I mean,
Yeah, but I just don't think Geno Smith has that in him. Like Matt Castle took the Patriots to 11-5 uh, when Tom Brady was out that year, the last time the Patriots lost their division. Um,
well then they should bring in the bearded Harvard alum in Ryan Fitzpatrick. See, I pulled off the Boston accent
it
then.
was all right.
I,
It was all right.
I mean, it was a passable,
Uh, we should put a poll up for that.
Yeah, hashtag Patriots Corner for
Hashtag
your hate
punishment.
mail.
That's where I said punishment. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't. I don't have any faith in the Jets. I got Geno Smith. It's got to prove it to me, straight up. So we'll see. We'll see. I will eat my words, um, if that's the case, and I will gladly say I was wrong. But I just think the Bills are a better team. The Dolphins are a considerably better team. Both those teams are considerably better, and I just think the Jets are going to be lucky to finish 8-8. So we'll see. We shall see. No faith, no faith. That's just what it is. But like I said, I'll eat my words. I'll eat them. I'll devour them. I'll put them in my mouth, and
You want a grinder?
that was terrible too, man.
Are you kidding me? That was
Oh,
good.
look, granda, mate. Yes, yeah, yeah, nee. Yes, Steven, mate. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
bloody
that was
hell.
better. I'll give you that. All right, all right. I don't know. I, I, do you have anything else to add to Jimmy G and the divisional shenanigans we got going on here?
I mean, I like Jimmy G's long-term
Mm-hmm.
future. Um, but I mean, even if he does really well and blows us away, he's gonna be headed back to the bench once Tom Brady returns, if the suspension is upheld.
Right.
So
Even if he goes 4-0 and throws one interception and 8 touchdowns and almost 1,000 yards during that time, uh,
even if he completes every
well, I
pass,
don't know if he could. Well, yeah, yeah, probably.
I mean, what if hypothetically
If
he completed
hypothetically he
every
completed
pass?
every
It
pass, they don't bench him. No way.
throws for 300, 400 yards each
Yeah,
week.
if he was throwing for 300, 400 yards each week and he completed every single pass, there's no way they bench him. Now,
So you're saying he would
I'd
start
say
over
Tom
Tom
Brady
Brady?
loses his job right there.
Oh, that's the headline right there from this. Boom, clickbait.
No, no, no clickbait. Fucking hate clickbait. That shit's fuck that shit. Nah, no, no, fucking clickbait. I hate clickbait. God, those websites that do that pisses me off. Um, I get it because they're trying to fucking make money, but it's like, no, it's fucking stupid,
Right.
man. Like, you're wasting my fucking time here. There's a lot of cuss words right there, but I'm keeping that in there. Um, yeah, nah, nah. No, but dude, I mean, you can't bench a guy who completes all of his passes. I mean, if he was throwing for like 90 yards and was completing all of his passes, maybe, like, maybe not. No, probably not, because then you're throwing 10 passes.
I mean,
But if he's throwing
average like
30 passes
350.
and 350, oh no, you can't bench him. No, 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 no. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Belichick's a weird man. Like, you never know what he can do. What That guy's probably a serial killer on his spare time. Who fucking knows? I don't know. I mean, I hope he's not that boring with his wife. All right, I don't know. I don't have anything else to add to this. What about you?
Yeah. Do you think the Patriots
Yeah,
win
I
the
still think they
division?
win the division,
Okay.
and I think it's closer if the suspension holds up and then he misses 4 games. But I still think they win the division. I just don't think unless Buffalo or Miami can come out and play, you know, I don't know, crazy good, but I just don't see it happening. So I just think the Patriots are still a solid team despite the losses they have on defense,
Oh yeah.
um, and the lack of additions really on offense. Um, we'll see. We'll see. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd be interested to see how Garoppolo leads the offense because Brady makes everybody
Hmm.
better. So, I mean, is Brady going to be like a cheerleader on the sidelines or how's that going to go down? So,
Yeah, yeah. I think he would be. I think he would be a good quarterback coach for Jimmy G. On the sidelines, helping him read defenses and whatnot. Yeah, I think Tom Brady would be a team player, knowing that more than
I
likely
mean,
he's gonna, like, 99% likely he's gonna get his job back.
we saw what happened with Peyton Manning his last year in Indianapolis when he was just done and they won what 2 games?
Right. Exactly. And then Andrew Luck comes in and kills it. But
And right, and everybody forgets about that.
right,
So,
right. But I don't know if you remember the names of the quarterbacks who played for the Colts in place of Peyton Manning when he wasn't there. And Jimmy Garoppolo is supposed to be the next Tom Brady, I guess, is what they're hoping for. I'm assuming. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. It should be interesting. I would honestly like to see Jimmy Garoppolo play, but I don't think the suspension is I just don't agree with it. So, it's a little bit of a bittersweet, I guess. I don't know if the suspension does hold up. I mean, I'm a Patriots fan. I'm more of a Tom Brady fan than a Patriots fan. But yeah, I don't know. But I think that's all we have for the Patriots today. If you want to, you can follow me on Twitter at Trentasaru, Trentasaru. What's your Twitter handle, Michael?
At underscore Michael Gartman, and everybody knows that's spelled Michael. Gartman is Gartman, and you should follow us. So
Yeah,
we'll put out some updates, keep you posted on what's happening with the Patriots and around the
yeah,
NFL.
follow me. I love to talk to people on Twitter. Like Twitter's one of my favorite social media sites to go on. Come on, harass me, say what's up, whatever you like. Um, Make fun of me for my ridiculous accent as well as Michael. Yeah, but thank you for listening, guys. Like I said, this is our inaugural podcast. Feel free to criticize us and give us notes if you would like to via Twitter. But thanks for listening, guys. For Michael Gartman, I'm Trent Davis, and we are out.